So what's the 5 signs that your company culture is toxic? That's going to be our conversation today. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Number 1.
Okay, here we go. Politics trump performance. Politics trump performance. What does that mean to you when you hear that?
The first thing that came to my mind is your best friend in the office gets promoted over someone necessarily who might have the best numbers, whatever the tracking metrics are.
Totally. It can take so many forms. So in big companies, one of the natural things that happen, it's not necessarily good, one could argue, is that politics come into play, particularly if you're over $3 billion in revenue. My experience has been companies morph from being companies to governments. So you end up with lots of corporate politicians that walk around. No one really knows what she does or what he does. They've got a big title, big office, kind of go around kissing baby, shaking hands, but they make all the decisions. And if you get on their good side, good things happen.
Yeah.
If you get on their bad side, bad things happen, regardless of your performance. So this one is a tricky one because we all want to be rewarded for the work we do. We all want to feel like our work is appreciated and it's noticed, but politics can come into play and kind of overrule that. So that can be favoritism, like what we just talked about there. That was a great example. It can also be other things. In some companies, tenure matters more than performance. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I know you did great last year, but she's been here longer, so she gets it instead of you. And so that can be another form of politics where you have tenure play into it. And there are some companies, they're not as common as they used to, but some companies still have a lot of long tenured employees and have cultures of long tenured employees where you stay 30 years. And when those, sometimes that's healthy, but when it's not healthy, it's because that's valued over performance.
Yeah.
And so high performers, then what do you think they do in that situation?
They keep high performing.
Well, they might.
And then they leave.
But then they bolt. That's exactly right. They go, I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere else. And so that's definitely a bad one.
Yeah. So is this where maybe silos can come into play, right? You got your little groups
nicely
and pockets.
Played, Whitney.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Wow, I hear Isaac laughing. That just killed the confidence.
Why? He was proud
of you.
It was
so good, and then he laughed.
Absolutely. That's another element, too. So you end up with silos.
Yeah.
You end up with, well, this is going to be our little kind of fiefdom, and I don't want to, we're not going to play well with the others, so we're going to kind of protect our turf. And then you end up with misalignment. And I had one organization I worked with, and the 2 leaders above those 2 kind of divisions did not like each other. And so they communicated all the way down in their groups and teams, don't talk to people over there.
Wow.
But those people need to talk to each other to get stuff done. So they would set up like secret rendezvous meetings so they could talk about work.
Wow.
So they could get stuff done because they had to do it behind the back of the leaders because of politics. Wow. Yeah. So number 1 is politics.
Okay.
Now, again, the caveat is all big companies have politics, but when it becomes toxic is when politics is so severe that it is valued over performance. And decisions are made based on politics versus performance in almost every case. Definitely toxic.
Wow.
Are you ready for number 2?
I'm ready for
number 2. I'm ready for number 2.
Okay.
Okay, so now remember I said the first one is politics trumps performance?
Yes.
Okay. And now I'm gonna do a little turn here, okay? Like a little swivel.
Okay.
You're gonna have to follow me.
Okay.
Performance trumps values.
Okay.
What do you think that means?
To me, that means your numbers are really great, but maybe nobody likes you because you're kind of mean.
Yeah, totally like dead bodies in the wake.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, look at Whitney over there. She killed it last month, and her numbers are fantastic. And she made 3 people cry, and 2 people quit.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to work with her.
Right.
But we say here that we are all about team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? So then we have this issue where performance trumps values or culture. And so everything that we say we are, we're like, oh, we'll excuse it because, gosh, he's a really high performer or she's a really high performer.
Yeah, yeah.
And that one person infects the entire culture and makes it toxic.
Right.
And it makes you as an employee say, well, what really is valued around here? What really does matter?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it feels icky, not good. performance trumps values.
Which kind of feeds the politics.
It does, yeah. And they all start to kind of bleed together.
Yeah, yeah.
And so in big companies, why can be an issue is there can be a lot, particularly today, a lot of pressure for short-term results. Because most big companies are going to be publicly traded, which means there's pressure for quarterly results.
Right, right.
And most big companies today are undergoing a lot of change initiatives.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, you don't care if there's a lot of dead bodies in the wake, just hit the numbers you got to hit, because
right.
as a senior leader, reporting out to Wall Street or the board, I got to look good. So you better just do it. Do whatever you got to do to get it done.
Wow.
So I was talking to someone a few weeks ago, and he was talking about an organization he had gone into, and they hired him for this. They were like, okay, we want you to go in and be a change agent. We're moving too slow around here. He said, okay, so can I break a few plates? They said, yeah, you could absolutely break a few plates.
Yeah.
He said, okay. Pause for a minute. He said, can I drive a Mack truck through the China shop? They were like, well, hold on now. I'm not quite sure exactly that's what we want. So how much change can I really do?
Yeah, yeah.
But in this case, this is where it really doesn't matter what you break as long as you get the results.
Wow.
So that's
a nice analogy.
That's number 2.
Wow.